What's up, people? Hope you're having a good old day, a good old dandy old time. I decided that I'm just gonna make a video on my car and what I'm doing to it currently, what I have done to it, and what it was like before I got to it. And that's actually a funny story. But first, let me show you what I'm currently doing right now. Right now, I'm prepping the engine bay to paint. Then after I paint it, I'm gonna, with the help of my brother, put this wiring harness through. You can see how we kind of set it up the way we wanted it to be, and what we thought it should be. I'm gonna get some wrap to wrap the wires around, like the mesh type wrap. Kind of squeezes on there. I call it wire condoms. It's technically what it is. Don't be silly. Anyways, but the engine is obviously missing for that purpose, and plus for another purpose is that I needed to check the transmission, see if everything was alright, refill the torque converter, and then obviously I've painted the engine while it was out. It's been a long time coming, but I'm finally getting to the point where I can set everything back in. I've gotten the bolts for the engine and for the transmission, so that way they can both connect together. There were a couple missing bolts, so I had to go buy some more today. And so that should be done soon, I hope. And then moving on from that, actually let me show you real quick because I'm kind of proud of this. Besides this little chip right here, I guess the paint didn't adhere very well for that area, but it looks pretty damn nice. I mean, for a rattle can engine paint, I promise it's Chrysler orange. I would not make that mistake. I was thinking about doing a black, but obviously, yeah, like some areas you can see needs a little bit of touch up, inevitably. But I have some left over, some paint left over, and I'll do it that way. But yeah, everything just looks nice and coated up. No scratches really. Just good old iron block pressed. For all those, I don't know what those like little dots are. Or like the model number. Looks pretty nice. I'm pretty proud of how the paint turned out. And then I got an aluminum radiator, obviously. That's pretty damn good to have. So, I mean, compared to this radiator right here, I don't even know if that's the original radiator. Probably is. But I haven't worked on enough of these cars to really know that yet. But I'm learning. I'm learning a lot about Mopars in specific, just because this car is really just making me a Mopar, no car type guy. But let's get to the body. The body, as you can see, is very crudely sanded up. If sanded up is even a term. But yeah, I just wanted to see what was underneath that area, because one, that rear quarter panel is even worse, and two, there were like already holes and dents in those areas, so including the roof. So I wanted to see exactly how bad it was, and to my dismay, my disappointment, it's pretty fucking bad. Excuse my French. I just get a little heated when talking about it, because it's like ridiculous how people don't really care how they fix things, and you'll see in a minute. Starting here with the rear quarter panel, that gas cap was filled in with body filler, straight up, just body filler. Let me see if I can find that little piece. I put it somewhere. Here it is. Right here. You can kind of see how right into the wall there. You can kind of see how this one's set in there. One sec. I promise I don't have Parkinson's or anything. There we go. Kind of sits in there like that. That's how it was before. And it's not flat because it just puts so much thick cake body filler on this area. So that's a thing. I mean, they cake body filler everywhere. I would not be surprised if there's more dents hiding up in the front. I mean, I would be a little surprised because I don't see really any rust spots in the front. The front, I mean, as you guys saw earlier, looks pretty damn good for what it is. And then this side's not much better. The reason why the sanding and the paint strip isn't really consistent, because yeah, I tried to strip with air stripper paint or paint stripper for, to use for airplanes, but I just got, I said screw it because it's like just so bad that I really just didn't care to look any further. As you can see, there's a lot of rust patches. And then opening this door right here, yeah, you have to lift up the door in order to open it. That definitely needs to be fixed. So I feel like you hit one good bump and this like little area right there is just gonna come in a little bit and then start cracking worse all along the body. It's to the point where I'm thinking about getting a new shell. But I don't want to do that because this car is as much a part of my life as my own beating heart. So I want to keep as much original parts on this thing as possible. The front bumper probably has a dent underneath that body filler. I think it's body filler. So what I'm gonna do is, if that is the case, I'm gonna fix that dent as much as possible and then fill it in with something, whatever you're supposed to fill it in with. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. This is my headlight bezel. I gotta get that. But and then after I get that filled in, I'll just re-chrome it because this bumper's in pretty good condition, so I'm not gonna bother getting a new one. I'm just gonna re-chrome it most likely if I need to. And then the rear bumper is pretty bad. I mean, you can see the dent right there and just all these areas where just the wear is just too bad. I looked online a while ago. It's probably not there anymore, but really nice chromed up versions of this bumper is like $500, so that's pretty pricey, so that's gonna have to wait. But let me see. Let me show you what's going on right here. Now one day, let me just explain this first. One day I accidentally, you have to lift up the doors like I said earlier in order to shut them. So like you lift it up, slam it in order to get it to shut right, because they need to be adjusted. But before, this whole area right here was caked in with body filler because the door sat out a little bit. So what they did was they caked body filler on here in this area to make it look more even with the door. So I was like spending an hour just really sanding that down with a drill, and that took a long ass time. It was just really frustrating. Like, that's just a part of body work, but it's just really disappointing that people never bother to fix things the right way. Otherwise these doors wouldn't have an issue. I mean, that same door on the passenger side has the same problem. You can tell that down here, I mean, there's some rust, and I mean, I don't know, I mean, this probably is some rust slash dents down here, and I'm not gonna bother sanding that down any further because obviously That's just all holes, rusted through holes most likely. And then there's this rust patch right here that was all body filler. They didn't bother, like, you know, patching it up from the inside. Let me see it down there. Okay, sorry my finger was covering up. But yeah, right here, there's just a huge rust patch that they didn't bother fixing the right way. They just really just caked body filler in there instead of like putting a patch on the inside and then putting body filler in there. So you can just kind of see the kind of people that are actually out there in the world that really don't give a damn. It's hilariously sad. Talk about irony, you know? People say they're car guys, yet they do stuff like that. You know, they don't bother trying to do it the right way. I mean, they had to have known that they were doing it the wrong way. But moving on, since we're done with the body, I'll show you the roof real quick. You kind of see that there's some holes rusted through. It's bad on the roof. That's what I was saying. Like, I should probably just, it'd be best to just get a new shell for it, because it's just gotten to the point where I don't even think it's worth trying to fix all this up. I think the money I'm going to be spending on body parts, I might as well just spend on a whole new shell. Get an old duster that, you know, in the areas that I need, might just, you know, fill all that in, like, you know, patch it up with actual steel, get old American steel. I hope this is American steel. Anyways, moving on, I'll just quickly show you the rims real quick. The tires aren't like, you know, actual muscle car tires, because I had to go to some place to get, because they're just temporary tires. One, I'm not even driving this thing right now, but as you can see, I like to keep the car looking like it could drive even when there's no engine in it, because I actually take care of what I have. But that rim is probably like one of the best examples of them through the whole set. I got this from a guy for 300 bucks at a junkyard, the guy who owned the junkyard, and he was keeping these in his basement, and they were stacked up. So some of them, that's why a couple of them, mainly the two rear ones. That one's not too bad either. I mean, there's some chips where the chrome chipped off. That's a given when you keep it in a damn basement. Well, other than that, it's really nice. I'm keeping the drum brakes in there. I'm gonna replace the components on the drum brakes, and I like actually that the drum brakes are orange. I think they were painted like that, but I like that look, so I'm gonna keep them orange. Let me show you the one that is the worst. Also, the guys I went to get this tire, the people who put it on, put on the wrong size tire. So you'll see in my trunk, there's another tire, which they gave me that one for free because it's the right tire. And then there's some other miscellaneous parts. Sorry, I was kind of messing with my phone there. I don't know how much battery I have. But like my headlights, brake booster in that box, and then there's a carburetor, alternator, and then the intake, and then these paint guns I'm gonna use to paint. My mom got me those, so hopefully those do pretty well. I think they will. I mean, it's better than rattle canning everything. But I'm gonna paint it satin black. It's gonna look real nice. This one, it's got a little bit of rust, but overall it's not too bad. I mean, I didn't even I mean, all I did, and that really just was like just took a brush, not a wire brush, like, you know, one of the bristle brushes, the black bristles, and then took some like buffing compound, and then just scrubbed it, and it polished the areas out pretty nicely. besides the ones that are rusted. But really, on the other ones, there's little to no rust. Comparatively, I think I got a good bargain for these. Sure got snagged on something. And then, alright, my phone's at 5%. I gotta hurry this up.